All right, let's jump right in. We have all been there, right? You're staring at this massive pile of information and it's just chaos. So today we're going to talk about how to make sense of all that data.
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? You've got all the pieces, the numbers, the server logs, customer feedback, but how in the world do you turn that into a story? Something that actually makes sense, something people can look at and say, I get it now.
And let's be honest, most of the time, raw data looks exactly like this. It's just a tangled mess. You know the answers are in there somewhere, hiding, but all you see is noise. Our whole goal is to pull out that one clean signal from all that static.
Okay, so that brings us to our hero for today, Jaspersoft Studio. Now, I know the official definition here sounds a little technical. An Eclipse-based report designer? Don't worry about that for now. Just think of it as the tool we're going to use to untangle that web.
So what is Jaspersoft Studio, really? Let's dive in. At its heart, it's all about one thing, transformation. It's the bridge that takes you from that messy, raw data to a clear insight that you can actually use. To make this real, let's pretend for a minute. Let's say we're running an online bookstore, and we need to figure out how our sales are doing this quarter.
And I gotta say, this analogy is perfect. It really is like a professional's workbench. Everything you could possibly need is right there, ready to go. So, for our bookstore, whether you just want to make a simple list of the top 10 bestsellers, or you need to build this super complex interactive report showing sales by country, this is where you do it all. Okay, but a workbench is useless without materials, right? You can't build anything without wood. In our case, that wood is data. So the very first step, the absolute foundation, is connecting to where your data lives. And that's a huge question, right? Where does the data come from? Because, in the real world, data is never in one clean, perfect place. Oh, no, it's scattered all over the place.
Well, the short answer is pretty much anywhere you can think of. Seriously, the tool is so versatile. We're talking traditional databases, sure, but also basic spreadsheets, XML files, CSVs, even the big stuff, the really big data sources like Hive. It's this flexibility that's its secret weapon. And this slide really gets to the so what of it all. Think about our bookstore again. Your sales numbers are probably in a database. Your customer reviews might be in XML files. And your inventory? That's sitting in a CSV file somewhere. Jaspersoft Studio lets you pull from all of those different places and weave them together into a single, unified report. That is an absolute game changer. All right, so we've got our data hooked up, we're connected. Now for the fun part. This is where we get to be creative, where we become the architect and actually design the blueprint for our report. And this is where it all happens, the design view. This is the heart and soul of the studio. The best way to think about it is like a visual canvas. You're not writing a bunch of complicated code, you're literally dragging and dropping elements, building your report visually, piece by piece. So how do you organize everything on this canvas? Well, it uses a really clever system called bands. They're just horizontal sections. So for our bookstore report, you'd put the main title, quarterly sales, in the title band. Simple enough. You'd put the page number in the page header band so it shows up on every page, but the magic is in the detail band. Whatever you put there, like the book title and price, it repeats automatically for every single record, for every single sale. It's a super smart way to structure everything. And you know what's cool? The whole process is basically just 3 simple steps, over and over. 1, you grab something from your toolbox, a text field, an image, whatever. 2, you drop it onto one of those bands we just talked about. And 3, you tell it what to do, what data to show, what color it should be. That's it. That's the core loop of building a report. Okay, so making lists is fine, but we're here for something more, right? We want to tell a story with our data. So let's get into the really cool stuff, how you bring that data to life. And yeah, this quote from the official docs nails it. We're talking about creating sophisticated layouts. This isn't about just spitting out rows and columns anymore. This is where you get to be an artist and really design something that communicates a message. This is it. This is the moment data stops being numbers and starts being a story. In our bookstore, a line chart isn't just data points. It's the story of how the sci-fi genre suddenly took off in March. A map isn't a list of addresses. It's a visual story showing a hotspot of loyal readers in a specific city. Every single element you add is another paragraph,
another chapter in your story. And look at the tools you have to tell these stories. You've got charts, obviously, for seeing trends. You've got maps to see where things are happening. You have these things called crosstabs. Think of them as super-powered pivot tables that let you slice and dice the data in multiple ways at once, like sales by genre and by author. And then there are subreports, where you can actually embed a whole other report inside your main one to get into some seriously granular detail. It's incredibly powerful.
Okay, so you've connected to the data, you've designed this beautiful, insightful report that tells a compelling story. What's left? Well, you have to share it. You gotta get it out of the studio and into the hands of your audience.
And just like with the data sources, it's all about flexibility. Your masterpiece isn't stuck in one format. You can spit it out as a perfect polished PDF for the big boss. Or maybe you export it as an Excel file so the finance team can play with the numbers themselves. Or hey, you can even turn it into an HTML page to put right on your company's internal site. The bottom line is this: you can give people the story in the exact format that works best for them. That way, all the hard work you put into finding and telling that story doesn't go to waste. People can actually see it, get it, and most importantly, do something about it. And that kind of brings us to a bigger idea, doesn't it? We are swimming in more data right now than ever before in human history. It's everywhere. And tools like Jaspersoft Studio give us the incredible power to shape that data, to give it a voice. So really, the big question for all of us isn't, can we find insights anymore? It's, with all this power, what are the stories that we should be telling?